The Moon-Spinners is a 1964 American Walt Disney Productions feature film starring Hayley Mills, Eli Wallach and Peter McEnery in a story about a jewel thief hiding on the island of Crete. The film was based upon a 1962 suspense novel by Mary Stewart and was directed by James Neilson. The Moon-Spinners was Mills' fifth of 6 films for Disney, and featured the legendary silent film actress Pola Negri in her final screen performance. Plot: a young Englishwoman named Nikki Ferris takes a trip with her folk musicologist aunt, Frances, to a small coastal inn on the Greek island of Crete. Owner Sophia refuses to allow them to stay at her inn, the Moon-Spinners, but Aunt Frances and Sophia's teenage son Alexis persuade her into changing her mind. Whilst Nikki and Aunt Frances are in the room, Sophia's brother Stratos demands to know why they chose to stay at his sister's inn and says they should leave, but Aunt Frances insists on staying. Stratos reluctantly agrees to allow them to stay for one night. During a wedding party at the inn later that evening, Nikki meets a stranger named Mark, who invites her and Aunt Frances to have a meal with him. They accept. Their dinner meeting attracts Stratus's suspicious stare, which Nikki notices and points out to Mark. Mark hints there's more to Stratos than appears. At end of the evening, Mark suggests that he and Nikki could meet in the morning to go for a swim in the Bay of Dolphins. Nikki agrees. She comes downstairs the next morning and quickly learns that Mark has checked out of the inn. During a walk on the island, she stumbles across Mark, who's been shot, and so her adventure begins, which will lead her to a mysterious wealthy woman, played by former silent film star Pola Negri in her final film role. Cast: Hayley Mills as Nikki Ferris, Eli Wallach as Stratos, Peter McEnery as Mark Camford, Joan Greenwood as Frances Ferris, Michael Davis as Alexis, Pola Negri as Madame Habib, Irene Puppers as Sophia. Production: the lead character is somewhat younger than in the novel. Traveling alone in the book, she is accompanied by her aunt in the film. The film is somewhat dark, similar to other Disney live-action features made in the 1950s and 1960s for more mainstream audiences, such as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Treasure Island. It was Walt Disney's penultimate live-action film in which he was credited as producer while alive. Disney convinced silent film actress Pola Negri, who had been retired for 2 decades, to return to the screen for this, her final film. Both Mills and Wallach were interviewed extensively about the work with Negri in The Moon-Spinners for the 2006 biographical documentary film Pola Negri: Life is a Dream in Cinema.